What is up, everyone? Welcome back to our lawn, welcome to the backyard, and welcome to the annual year in review video. Now, this is keeping track of the progress that I'm making here, but specifically for you, I made a lot of changes this year in how I manage everything about my yard, and I want to communicate those lessons to you, what you can learn from what I've done, and how you can start to implement that into your own program. Now, probably a lot of this video is going to be from the basement office, talking from down there, because I have information on what I've spent and all the applications I've done so that I can communicate that accurately and effectively to you. And then we're going to go from the practice facility, backyard, front yard, side yard, show you just kind of before and after, just the kind of progress and what it's looking like currently. And then we'll jump down to the basement to talk about everything. And so starting on the green, it was amazing come the end of this season. And the fairway now has been so good. And I've expanded the fairway further back there. And we're going to continue expanding, but I'll give you a quick look at what this was looking like, and I'll give you a pan and some close-ups of what it's looking like now, and we can take a look at that progress so far. Honestly, if not for the worms, which are really bad as of late in terms of the worm castings and the damage from that, if not for that, this would have all looked absolutely mint for a lot of the season. The biggest changes I made on the putting green are mow height, watering, PGR consistency, and fungicide consistency. Everything else has remained exactly the same from last year. Other than being under leaves, a quick look at the backyard. This year there was no PGR, no weed killing, very little fertilization, which I'll talk to more into this evening, and really just staying on top of fungicide and PGR and mowing and the occasional water when it was needed, and that's it. Front yard, generally the same idea. Still looking fairly good considering we had 2 weeks where this was under 4 inches of snow and it's been in the 20s, a couple of nights down even into single digits. This here is when I brought this discoloration in through here, is when I brought the height down and mixed with the late season PGR. It never was able to grow back up through, so that's just a little bit of scalping where we're seeing the crowns. That'll be perfectly fine next year. Front yard is generally the same story as the backyard, less fertilizer, just watering, PGR, fungicide, and about 1.5 pounds of N, I believe, got us here throughout the whole season. The one thing I want to talk about, and another iteration of you don't have to overseed your Kentucky bluegrass, is we'll take a look at a couple areas. This area here was super thin coming out of seeding last fall. You can take a look at it from last year and look at it now, all filled in, completely good to go going forward. This whole area right here was dirt. I asked them not to seed it. I did not seed it. This is how much of that filled in throughout the season. We just have a little bit left from the old pole that they took down to put in this one. Here, this was about 8 to 10 inches off the sidewalk when we put this walkway in and when we had to dig in there. And it has crept in, no seed. Just let it creep in on its own. And then we'll give you a look at this side yard piece here, which is my personal favorite part of the yard, even including the golf course, just because that's not there yet, and how much this is filled in. The only issues really are is I can't get my dog to stop peeing over here. Over in the do everything wrong when you're real mowing section, this has now been top dressed once this season. The biggest change, and we can look in through here in terms of how well this is filled in, I did not seed over here this year. All I did was I cut this dense cedar tree off so that this can get just a little bit more sun, and you can see how well this is filled in compared to, I can show you where this was last fall. There are some lessons learned in the front here that I want to talk about. If you look down below me, all these light little bits are spurge. I didn't do a good enough job of killing weeds. Also over there, I had a really bad crabgrass problem. So with those lessons that I'm learning this year, next year, this will get pre-emergent and I will be a little bit more on top of killing weeds over here just to keep this looking as nice as it can. Because I mean, honestly, for December 2nd, being under snow and a bunch of cold weather, it looks amazing. So that's it for the walk around. Now we're gonna go down into the basement so I can talk about what I've learned, what I did differently, what I spent, and how you can use that either on your golf course, we'll start with those lessons learned, or your yard at large, and how you can better use your resources and time, save a little bit of money, and have just as much success as you have any other time and any other year.